The advice and opinions expressed by the host of Autism Live and her guests are meant solely as suggestion and should not be in any way construed as child-specific advice. The Center for Autism and Related Disorders advises working with a board-certified behavior analyst who has experience with autism before starting any intensive behavioral intervention. Any choices you make in determining your child's treatment are completely at your own discretion.
Good morning and welcome to Autism Live. I'm Shannon Penrod and we are webcasting to you live from the Center for Autism and Related Disorders headquarters in Tarzana, California. My really wonderful friend Nancy Alspaugh-Jackson is here with me because it's a big day. We don't usually get you on a Monday, but thank you for being here.
I wouldn't miss this for all the world.
I guess I wouldn't either.
Should we remind people what you're doing today?
In just a few minutes, I am going to be shaving my head right here live on the show. We have a very special guest who's going to be dropping in to do the honor of, I guess the honor, I hope the honor, I hope it's not a horrible thing. Mark Christopher Lawrence.
A wonderful, big supporter of Act Today. He was the actor on Chuck, and he's a stand-up comedian, and you spent a lot of the weekend with him.
I did, because we were at the ATMF run.
Yes, Act Today for Military Families. Was that not a great day, Shannon?
Can I tell you how proud I was of you? It was a beautiful day. You raised a lot of money. There was a lot of good feeling there.
Yeah.
Money
We're
raised.
We're going to start crying early in the show today. Your eyes are already tearing up.
I know. We're going to try to hang on to it.
Okay, let's hang on to it.
But yes, Mark will be here in just a few minutes to start shaving my head. As you mentioned, he was Big Mike on Chuck.
Yeah.
And most recently, you guys have seen him as Unique's dad on Glee.
Oh, okay.
So,
I didn't know that.
Fabulous, fabulous
Good
actor and a very funny man.
And has some nephews with autism, and has just been one of our biggest celebrity supporters. He does a lot of stand-up nights for us, for all the proceeds go to Act Today.
And we've got some other special guests that are joining us today. Monica Holloway, the author of Cowboy and Wills, is going to be with us in a little while. We adore her. She's an autism mom. And Alex Plank from wrongplanet.net is going to be with us. I also have to say, we've got some exciting things coming up throughout the week that I want to remind everybody. One of the first ones, Yolanda Baker is going to be with us tomorrow, and she is author of this great little book, Bite Your Bills, Cutting Medical Costs for the Disabled. This is an important time of year as you're getting ready to do your taxes.
Yeah.
She's going to be telling us some things that we can do last minute to save money on our taxes, and how
the subtitle, How I Got $28,000 Back in Medical Expenses. And I think we could all use that this time of year.
Absolutely. So she's going to tell us what we can include on our taxes and what last minute things that we can do to help us with that. So we're looking forward to having Yolanda tomorrow. Wednesday,
we have the playwright and the two leads for a production in Los Angeles at the Fountain Theater called On the Spectrum that is getting national attention. The production originated right here in Los Angeles. We're going to have the creative cast on the show, and it is about a love relationship between two young people on the autism spectrum.
Wonderful.
And from what I hear, this play is... I could not believe the review in the LA Times. It could not have been more glowing. And I think we're destined to see great things, and hopefully it'll go on to a national touring and maybe even, Broadway.
Very excited to talk to them on Wednesday. We've got some other exciting guests on Thursday and Friday. We'll key you into that a little later. But we're all excited this morning because I'm going to be shaving my head, and I want to remind everybody what this is about.
Yes.
There's a new initiative, Compassion in Action. As you know, it's April. It's Autism Awareness Month, and there are lots of fun things to do during this month, lots of things to raise awareness. But here we're asking everybody to participate by doing one thing for someone else.
Yes.
One action to show compassion for someone else. We know that when we show compassion to someone else, we feel better.
Absolutely. It's documented. It's scientific.
Absolutely.
The more you give, the better you feel.
Absolutely. We also know that in turn it will help someone else.
Right.
And And I'm a big believer that our actions teach other people how to treat us.
Yes, I agree with that.
And if we're looking for compassion for those of us who have children on the spectrum, and both of you and I do, and for all of our viewers who are also on the spectrum, we know we're always looking for compassion for the autism community.
We are.
And we're also big proponents of modeling the behavior. So today we're kicking it off and we're trying to model some behavior. So I have chosen an action to do that I will be shaving my head to show support for a young dad with cancer. And his name is Ryan Eoff. If you'd like to know more information about Ryan and his valiant battle, you can go to Fight for Ryan on Facebook and check out this amazing young man. He is not someone that I've ever had the pleasure of meeting.
Okay.
I've never had the pleasure of speaking to him, but we're doing a shout out to him today to say, Ryan, you know, this is for you. And throughout the day, we're going to be talking to you about what action you might take, how you might show compassion to somebody else, because ultimately what we're hoping, there's so many things that go viral. You see all those little kitty videos that go viral on YouTube, and we love those. There's nothing wrong with those. But what if compassion were to go viral? How amazing would it be if we could start a movement of people doing nice things for other people in this month?
If everybody can do one act of compassion this month of April, and as we said, it doesn't necessarily have to be autism related, but it shows how those of us in the autism community, I think we learn a valuable lesson by being in this community, that the more charitable, the more compassionate we are, the better our own lives become.
Absolutely.
And I tend to find a lot of people in this community already have that attitude to pay it forward, so we want to spread that word. So anything you can think of, you know, there's so many different ways, and you're going to be giving some tips on how to do that.
Absolutely.
And we're going to, we will gladly take your donations at Act Today.
In fact, that's the first thing on our list. We've got 10 tips for if you're at a loss and think, well, what could I do? What could I possibly do to show compassion? The number one thing is
you can donate or hold a mini fundraiser for Act Today this month.
Absolutely.
ACT Across America, Autism Care and Treatment Across America. We have had, I want to tell you a brief little story. Laura Marquin, who's our Director of Programs and Development, her children did a lemonade stand during April, and through that lemonade stand, they met a man named Wendell Stout, who had a very a wonderful organization called ePadrini down in Orange County, where a group of businessmen get together and give money to causes. Well, because of that little lemonade stand, we have raised tens of thousands of dollars for Act Today ultimately. And also Mr. Stout made a donation for Team Justin at our run on Saturday in the amount of $9,000. So that little lemonade stand grew into a, you know, very wonderful thing for our foundation.
Isn't that amazing?
So you can go to www.act-today.org. We'll have a Donate Now button. We also have some pointers on things you can do. And you can do a fundraiser at your school. You can do a car wash. You can do a bake sale, lemonade stand, as I said. You could throw a little party. And especially if you have a child on the spectrum, we will send you materials on Act Today. You can contact us at the website, and we'll give you brochures and all kinds of things to give to your neighbors that not only educate about autism, but also will give information about how you can help Act Today. So that's the first one.
Wonderful. That's a great, great thing to donate to. So donate your time or whatever.
Okay. Do you want me to go through the others, or are we
actually, we're gonna take a short break, and we're gonna bring Mark Christopher Lawrence in,
my teddy bear,
because we're gonna start this party. And but as we go, I want to remind all of you that if you are watching us at www.autism-live.com, we have a live feature. You can. There's a box there. It says questions that we're answering right now. Put whatever comments that you have in. If you want to ask Nancy a question, or if you have a question for Mark Christopher Lawrence, want to talk to us while we're shaving the head, you can do that. It's free. There is no login. You don't have to give us your private information, but you can be chatting with us live.
Or if you have an idea for compassion in action that people can do.
Absolutely.
Right?
We're looking forward to hearing those from you. So let's take a break. Let's get Mark in here, and let's shave this puppy. All right, stick with us. Currently, in the United States, 1 in 88 children is affected by autism. 1 in 88 means something different when your child is the one. Recovery is possible. Hi, I'm Shannon Penrod, host of Autism Live, an online show about autism broadcast by CARD, the Center for Autism and Related Disorders. I'm also the mother of a child with autism, my beautiful son, Jem. You know our old joke, guess what?
Chicken butt.
Chicken butt. So we're going to take the chickens. But things weren't always so easy. I remember when Jem was first diagnosed with autism. I used to lay awake at night in bed and pray for someone or something that could help us to get our child back. My prayers were answered by Dr. Doreen Granpichet and the Center for Autism and Related Disorders. CARD treats autism and other related disorders using the principles of ABA, Applied Behavior Analysis, which is the only scientifically proven effective treatment for autism. It is also recommended by the American Academy of Pediatrics and the U.S. Surgeon General. About a year after we started treatment with CARD, we were able to see tremendous improvement, and we got our child back.
What grade are you in?
Second.
You are a smart cookie, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like school?
Yeah.
Do you have any good friends?
Yeah, Oscar.
Oscar is your best friend?
Yeah.
And my child is just one of thousands to benefit from CARD ABA therapy. Across the nation and around the world, children are making amazing progress and being given the keys to unlock their full potential.
We are extremely grateful for the amazing job CARD has done in helping our daughter. Our daughter today, just in 4 months, I think is a totally different child than when she started with CARD. I kind of see it as, it seems like her brain in a way was asleep, and now that we've gotten so many services, we've seen her wake up.
Teacher has some glasses.
Recovery is possible if you take the right steps, if you're willing to put in all the hard work. And 7.5 years, yeah, it's a lot of work. It's worth every little bit, and CARD's been there with us every step of the way.
I have 2 children with autism. I can't imagine a day without CARD or the therapists. They've been so instrumental in helping us with our kids and shaping their lives and helping us help them.
Thank you, Christina Big Alex.
Thank you, Jackie and Mariana.
We've tried other things before ABA, but the most beneficial thing has been ABA services, and I'd be the first person to tell any newly diagnosed family that you have to contact an ABA provider, and if you're lucky enough to have CARD, you're very blessed.
Recovery from autism is absolutely a possibility. We've been recovering children for over 20 years. It's just a matter of identifying the child's medical needs, understanding the child's sensory issues, and then teaching the child all of the skills they need in order to function normally.
We know there's hope for autism. Autism is treatable, and recovery from autism is possible. Welcome back to Autism Live. You may notice that things look a little bit different in here. We have turned off the green screen, so you're seeing it. We're keeping it real.
Oh, wow, are we ever?
And we've had an addition to come into the studio, this fabulous, talented young man. Of course, we're talking about Mark Christopher Lawrence. Big Mike from Chuck. But now you're on Glee playing Unique's dad, is that correct?
Yeah, I am.
Which, that's a very cool thing. You just we just saw you on the Glease episode when they did Grease on yes. And I can see that being a character that we want to see a lot more from.
Well, hopefully that'll happen. You know, apparently he's been acting up, so I should have to come back and say, hey, stop that.
All right. Well, we're gonna keep our good thoughts to you for you to stay on that show.
Thank you.
And so it's a wonderful show. Have you had fun already being on the set with it? I hear that it's just a very creative place there. Very busy, creative place.
There's so much talent on that show. I mean, those voices are amazing.
Yes.
And then the writing is good, and it's you know, really fun environment to be in.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's one of the more exciting storylines, too, Unique. For people who haven't been watching recently, you should, because Unique is a young man who, well, he's trapped. He's a young woman trapped in a man's body, and he wants to dress as a girl and perform as a girl. And he is a fabulous girl performer. So, but we see that, you know, it might be a little bit difficult for his parents. Sure. What it's like if son comes home and says, I'm going to be a girl on stage.
I think so, but I think too that the character that I play, his father is understanding.
Yes.
Because
but
it is
protective.
his child,
Compassionate. Yes, protective. He's compassionate. Which leads us into why you're here with us today, because you have demonstrated that you are a very compassionate person over and over and over again.
Yes, he's worked with us for about 5 years at Act Today. Mark has not only come out and been sort of the MC host of our Act Today for Military Families Run and Festival down in San Diego, he's also done many nights of comedy, stand-up, where all the proceeds go to Act Today. He's always thinking of us. And you have autism in your own family.
Yeah, my nephew has 2 children, well, a third now that has been diagnosed.
Oh, my gosh.
So, what do you do? You got to do something.
Right.
And, sometimes just looking for the cure is not the answer. What do you do now?
Right. For the children that have it today, which is, Act Today is all about treatment and care for the kids and adults that have it today. So,
and that's
very
why
important.
It's so important for me.
Absolutely.
That we are dealing with the issues now.
Right.
And that's important for a family.
Absolutely. Well, what a great supporter you are. And we got we have some great footage of you this last weekend at the Act Today for Military Family Run Fun Walk, and you were there supporting all the kids. I must say, at a really early hour in the morning. That's true dedication. To be up that early and be a bright, shining face, I was impressed.
It's okay. Today I got up at 5 to be here for 10.
Oh my goodness!
The train from San Diego.
The train. Yeah.
Wow. Well, you are a hero, and you're going to be doing the actual head shaving, and this is something that you have a little bit of expertise in.
You do your own?
Not anymore. I used to shave my head on my own because I'd have to do it every 2 days. And but then my agents decided, well, we want you to have a little bit of hair, because you're getting older, give you more opportunity. And sure enough, it's worked out better.
And you've got some lovely fuzz.
Yeah.
Yes. This part here is like my invisible hair. There's hair there. It's just you can't see.
Yeah, I could have done it too, because I shaved my husband's head. I'm pretty good at that. Yeah, I'll say, honey, you missed it.
Well, you're gonna be our faithful guide here. We're gonna take another quick, short break because we have the clippers here. Mark's going to get in position, and we're going to get a little guide and get started on this. So don't go away. I'm shaving my head, and we're saying hi to Ryan Eoff, because, Ryan, this is all for you. All right. So back after these messages. Hi, I'm Shannon Penrod, host of Autism Live. As the mom of a young man on the autism spectrum, I frequently look to the world and hope for compassion. Well, recently, I told my son that he should treat others the way he wants them to treat him. That's when I realized that it's high time that I start walking my talk. This April, for Autism Awareness Month, Autism Live is asking everyone to perform an act of compassion. Do something nice for someone else. That's why I've decided to shave my head to show support for a young dad who's fighting brain cancer. How will you show your compassion? Compassion is a tool of change, but only when we take action. How we treat others teaches them how to treat us in return. This April, the autism community has the ability to lead by example by putting compassion in action. This can be a small act or a large one. It can be close to home or towards someone on the other side of the planet. If we all perform an act of compassion, who knows? We might just change the world. Get involved and show us your compassion in action on Facebook.com/AutismLive. And tune in on April 8th to watch me shave my head live on the air. We are not powerless. We can create change. Compassion in action. Welcome back. This is Compassion in Action right here. And Mark Christopher Lawrence, star of Stage and Screen, is about to take a swath down the middle of my hair. While he does that, we had a comment that just came in from someone. A friend of mine was just diagnosed with breast cancer a few months ago. The day before her first chemo treatment, I took her to a tattoo shop and I got a cancer tattoo for her to show her my support for her. For my mom, who is a breast cancer survivor, and my best friend's mom, who passed away a few years ago also with breast cancer. Not that I'm dissing your new haircut style today. I personally just want to do something a little more permanent to show my friends and family how much I love and support them. And I love that comment. We all do. It's whatever the compassion is that you...
I mentioned to you that I would be willing to add another tattoo on my body this month. And I want to know if she could write us back. A cancer tattoo, did that mean the sign of cancer? What did she have put on? Because I'm interested in that. My husband is also battling cancer and has been for a number of years. Yes. So I'd be willing to put a new tat. I have my cross, my warrior tat, but I'd happily put another one on.
There you go. Okay. There you go. And we have another message that they're watching us from room 17. We've got a group of young fourth graders who are watching us. As we take the hair off. So here we go. Hi, room 17. All right. Whenever you're ready, Mark, go for it.
All right. I'm going to give some play-by-play here.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, Mark is...
And this is beautiful, thick hair.
It really is. Beautiful. We'll just sweep it off the floor later.
And there we go.
Okay, the first cut.
There's no turning back now.
The first cut is the deepest. I think that's what Sheryl Crow sings. And now we've got... Okay, Mark is doing sort of a reverse mohawk.
Yes.
We've got kind of a reverse mohawk action going on here.
Bozo the clown look.
I think Shannon may... Do we want to save some of this?
For what?
I don't
know. Organic gardening?
I don't know. You
what are we saving that for?
You might want to put a lock you might want to put some in a locket to remember this moment.
And I want to remind everybody that this is for compassion in action, and your compassion in action is whatever you choose.
I'll take the hair, Mark. I'm going to put it over here.
I'm molting. I'm choosing to shave my head for a young dad with cancer, but you can do whatever feels right for you during this month of Autism Awareness Month.
We have some other ideas for you. You can volunteer at a local school, a shelter, or a senior center.
Absolutely.
That's another one that we have.
You know, those are places where you can show up and help people out.
A homeless center where you could go and help them serve food. Okay. Shannon's got a racing stripe now down the center of her head. And it's looking very,
It's a nice little vibration. I was afraid it was going to hurt, but it's a nice little vibration.
The guide sort of shields your head.
Thank heavens that Mark...
When your hair is really long.
We need a little brush here to get it off your face.
Well, and I keep talking, so it goes in my mouth.
Yeah.
This is one way to shut me up.
Maybe somebody could get me a little makeup brush so I can, kind of...
I'm loving this.
And around your neck, maybe we might want to get, how at the barber, they kind of fluff you off.
Yeah, I got a makeup brush somewhere.
Okay, look, we've got a lot of hair over here.
Mark's not messing around.
No,
he's getting it done.
Serious. Yeah.
All right, and there we go.
This is like the length where you can't stop touching it.
Oh, really?
Touch it.
Okay.
I'm going to be like Buddha. Instead of people wanting to rub my belly, they're... that's nice.
Let me feel.
And it's got to be all gray at that point, right?
Yeah, it's a little gray there.
Yeah.
It's a little gray there.
We're full disclosure here. No green screen and the roots.
Okay.
Looking good. All right.
Looking great.
All right. I think we should take a quick break and get Monica Holloway in here. Monica Holloway, of course, author of Cowboy and Wills, a very fun autism mom that joins us on Monday morning. So let's get her in here, and we'll let Mark keep on plugging.
I think you should leave this little curl right here. Then.
One little curl in the middle. Okay.
And I think we need a brush to get the...
We have a makeup brush. All right. So stick with us. More head shaving after these messages.
Come. I'm here to assist.
Hi everyone, welcome back. It's April, which means it's also spring. And what we're going to be doing today is making our very own chia pets. What's cool about this project, it's an activity that you can revisit with your family as you watch it grow and change. All right, now that I piqued your interest, let's get to it. The materials we'll be needing are water, dirt, arts and craft materials, chia seeds, a container, and nylon. So let's get started. It's super easy. All you're going to do is you're going to take an old pair of nylons that you have. You're going to cut off the toe. And what you're going to do is you're going to take some of your chia seeds and sprinkle them at the very bottom. We don't need too much, just a little bit. And then once I've got my chia seeds there, I'm going to take my dirt and pour that in. And we want to make sure that we've got quite a bit in there. You want to keep this tail. What this does is acts as a way to soak up the water to feed your little chia plant. So I'm going to take the bottom now. I'm going to tie this into a knot. So now that I've got this little guy, now it's time to decorate him. And you can decorate him however you feel like. What I did is that I made some little features out of felt that I'm going to add to my little guy to give him a face. Now that I've got them all decorated, I'm going to pour some water into my container and make sure my tail is all nice and soaked up in there. And here's my little buddy. I made a mouse, but you can always make whatever kind of creature your child finds super reinforcing. Make sure they like the little animal that you make so they'll want to come back and revisit him. As you can see right now, he's a little ball, but hopefully, keeping your fingers crossed, in a week he'll have some hair. With the snap of my fingers, we're going to go through a week in a few seconds. And oh my gosh, this little guy has changed quite a bit. Can you see how? Yeah, he's got some hair now. You can have your kids describe how this little guy looks to their friends, and you can even work on body parts by having them label all the features that this little guy has on his face. So let's see, what does he have? He's got eyes, a nose, a mouth, and ears. What do you think will happen to him if I stop watering him? Yeah, he probably won't be growing any more hair if I did that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this activity. I know I did. Tune in next time, okay? And until then, craft on. Bye, guys.
Can you see me? Can you see me flying by your side?
Welcome back to Autism Live. We got a crowd growing here because we're here shaving my head for Compassion in Action. Of course, we have Nancy Alspaugh-Jackson, Executive Director of Autism Care and Treatment today. We have the fabulous Monica Holloway, author of the book Cowboy and Wills, one of my favorite books ever. And standing here doing the honors, it's Mark Christopher Lawrence, star of Chuck and Glee. So thrilled to have all of you here with me. We're shaving away. And Monica,
yes.
You said it feels pretty soft, yes?
It feels really soft. It's very sweet.
And you got a comment, are you going to do the fuzz or squeaky clean?
Somebody said, yes, are you wondering, are you going to go fuzz or squeaky when all is said and done? We have somebody who's going to be joining us in just a few minutes when we're all done who is going to make it squeaky.
Oh, my goodness.
We're doing the full Monty here, right?
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So, but Mark's doing a great job. I'm going to be a little fuzzy for a few minutes, and then we're going to shave it completely off.
He's doing my legs next. Oh, that's not a good visual.
You don't do bikini wax, do you?
Whatever you need.
The whole salon here. Okay. So we also have had a comment. As you know, I'm shaving my head to show compassion for a young dad with cancer, but I've been saying his last name incorrectly.
Okay.
It's Ryan Eoff is how you pronounce it, and his family is watching. They've written in and said that we're so grateful for my actions, the donation to match it, and the inspiration you're bringing. We thank you because we know that you guys are working hard, and you've got a job there to do, and we just want to show our support and love. So it's Ryan Eoff, but you can go to Fighting for Ryan to learn more about Ryan. So go for it, Mark, whenever you're ready.
And we're off and running.
And we've got a bunch more questions here. While you're doing that, I'm just going to... apparently, they're watching us in Jack Riley's house. The A-Word family has written in and said that they're watching. And we've gotten a message from the folks here at CARD that they've tuned in and are watching here at the Center for Autism and Related Disorders.
Yeah, the whole building's watching.
And if you're watching at home and have some words that you want to say or you want to tell us what you're doing for Compassion in Action, how about we've got some different ideas.
We do.
Monica and Nancy have things to do.
Monica, I'm going to do number 3.
Sure. Call or spend some time with someone you know is going through a tough time.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Very important. And I walked in here this morning and said to Shannon, My son Wyatt had one of the worst tantrums. I mean, it was like reminiscent of 2 or 3 years ago. And I came in, I've got scratches all over me and bruises, you know, for where my husband and I were holding him last night. And it really floored me. And just your words of support, saying sometimes we get a regression, sometimes, you know, we have these things before a big improvement. And then I realized, too, that it was his way last night of letting off steam about nervousness about his school week, because it's a heavy-duty week. But, of course, I went right back to that place of, oh, my God, is he regressing? Oh, my God, are the tantrums coming back? Because we haven't had one like that in so long. So if you know an autism family or any family that's dealing with any setback, call them. You know, if you've got somebody on your mind, today's the day to pick up that phone, call them and say, I am with you. I have got your back. If you need me, I'm here for you. That means so much to families dealing with autism, cancer. What would we have done without our support team?
Oh, my gosh.
When our kids were really going through the roughest of times.
Exactly.
Yeah?
I just put on my Facebook page on Friday, I just said, I said a call to action, a call to support, and a call to kindness. Loving autism as best I can this morning because I was having trouble.
You were too?
And I got this call from a friend of mine in San Francisco who I met through Facebook, and she's a writer, and I know her through Facebook, but she's never called me. She picked up the phone and left me this, Jill Dodd, thank you. I mean, what an amazing thing you did. And this long message to me about, look, I'm an autism mom. I know you're an autism mom. I get this feeling that you could use some support. This is where I'm going to be today. Please call me back. I mean, you did this. You did this. So thank you.
Great. So important. There is nothing like that personal touch, the sound of a voice. You know, we do so much through social media, Facebook, email. The sound of a voice can really comfort and keep you going for the fight, right?
Yes, it makes a really big difference.
And it's really all about compassion. And I have to say, you know, you are two awesome autism moms, and that's something that you guys have so in common, and you guys have been and continue to be an inspiration to people. I'm getting fuzzy on the face. You're working hard up there, Mark.
Okay, I want to do this next one.
But can I also say too that you're two moms who have been affected by cancer as well.
Yes.
And you know that. I think a lot of times people think that autism happens in a vacuum with nothing else going on. And it's quite the
real life
contrary,
happens
right?
while autism is happening, right?
Absolutely. So I appreciate having both of you ladies here with me for this moment.
Okay.
How you doing back there, Mark?
All right. I want to do this.
The rat's nest, right?
I want to do this next step because I think it's so important. For those of you that are in a position to do so, give an internship to a young person on the autism spectrum.
Amen to that.
I cannot say enough about this one. Right?
Yes.
When our kids become teenagers and young adults, they need every helping hand they can get. And the best way to do that is to teach them skills. And the best way to learn skills is to get an internship. Now, there are some wonderful organizations like Best Buddies that give placement in wonderful work environments. Do you know of any other ones, Monica, that do anything like that?
I don't, but I just got a call this morning from the mother of my son's best friend. Her name is Addie, and she decided, she's 16, that she would like to have a job this summer. So she, on her own, walked down. Well, she walked with her mother, but she went in by herself at a sandwich shop called Say Cheese in Silver Lake. And she asked, could she help unpack the boxes this summer? Did they have anybody that could do that? And they said, of course you can do that. And so we know, because we know Addie, and she's a bright and amazing girl, that she'll be doing a lot more than unpacking boxes.
Of course, that's the first step.
But this, I mean, she's been going there her whole life, so they know her. And they were so open and receptive, and her mom said to me on the phone in tears, she has her first job, she got it herself, and she got it on her own merit.
What an awesome confidence builder. And our kids really need that confidence.
Okay, we're going to take a short break so that we can give poor Mark a break, and we're going to oil the clippers.
Let's get more hair over here.
And we're going to be back with more head shaving and more ideas of how you can show compassion after these messages. Stick with us.
Okay, we'll vacuum later.
Hi, we're here today with Cecilia Knight, who is the Director of Training for the Center for Autism and Related Disorders. And today I'm thrilled to have her here because we're going to talk about manding. What is manding?
Request that you would make of another person.
Why is manding one of the first things that seems to come up in most programs?
Okay. Well, a baby requests for his mother's attention by crying or by reaching. And so it's one of the first ways that you let another person know what you need. And then that other person reinforces you by either picking you up or giving you something to drink or something to eat. And so many of our clients aren't really good at that once we start a program with them. And unfortunately, many of them engage in inappropriate manding, screaming, kicking, biting. And so what we're trying to do early on is no longer reinforce the inappropriate ways of asking and rather reinforce the appropriate ways of asking. And as we teach them an appropriate way to ask for, Mom, play with me, can I have juice, or, even more simply, help, then we see those inappropriate demands decreasing and the appropriate demands increasing, because the child's wants and their desires aren't really changing, but we're teaching them the right way to get their needs met.
So manding doesn't have to actually be spoken. It can be nonverbal as well.
And that's exactly right. They could exchange an icon. And if I bring you an icon with a cup on it and hand it to you, and you bring me a juice cup, then we've made an exchange. And so there is what Skinner would call verbal behavior. You have reinforced my request for a cup or for juice.
So when we say verbal behavior, we're not talking about vocal behavior necessarily.
That's right.
It's just that it's a conversation of some sort.
What is reinforcing to the child? The demand is evoked by the child's desire or their need for something. So early on, we may arrange the situation where I know that they're interested in the juice and they're reaching for it. I may hold it back to just say juice or ja or whatever is appropriate for that child. And then as soon as they emit any sort of response, give a high level of praise and then immediately give them the juice. So what controls the demand is that specific reinforcer. So of course, if the child asks for a juice cup and you bring something else, then they're not being reinforced with what they asked to have.
Okay. What do you want? Wafer, please. You say wafer, please. Wafer, please. Good talking. Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Daddy.
Welcome back to Autism Live. We've got quite a crew here. I got Nancy. It's a party. Nancy Alspaugh-Jackson from Act Today is with us. A wonderful, fabulous, amazing author, Monica Holloway of Cowboy and Wills is here with us. And this bright, shining face, Mark Christopher Lawrence is here, and he is shaving my head. We're doing compassion in action.
Is this the first time you've shaved a woman's head?
That's a pretty personal question.
He said no.
No. I shaved Carol Foreman's head years ago at Los Angeles Theater Center.
All right, there we go.
Right.
So we got the experienced person.
All right.
Did you
So
know that?
I did not know that. We were talking on Saturday about the fact that he'd shaved his own head, so I knew he had some expertise besides being a fabulous actor,
right.
And a fabulous comic. But so we're going to let Mark go ahead. We've oiled the clippers, hopefully. We got a lot more comments here. The card. SGC office is watching. Another person who said the Floridian fans are watching.
Right.
And my husband has written in and said, "Looking good, sweetheart." And he said, enjoy the breeze.
Now
that's from my husband.
That's a great husband.
Card San Diego is watching.
Love Card San Diego. We saw them at the run on Saturday. They really raised a lot of money for Act Today. We love you, Card San Diego.
Another person who says, I love how you're giving for someone in such a personal way. But you know what, as somebody mentioned before, others were talking about tattoos, and someone has suggested maybe Monica would like to get an autism awareness tattoo.
Okay.
And they've given us a link because you had asked for what kind of so they've given us a link here of different tattoos, which is great.
Good. I'll do it. I'll do one. I'm ready to go.
Autism, Alzheimer's, or cancer. I think Alzheimer's and cancer.
Autism for me.
And Alzheimer's are closest to me.
You're affected by Alzheimer's.
I know that my husband Michael's watching from Fox Studios, from The Simpsons.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I just want to say, I know you don't want me to get a tattoo, but I think I will too, because when I saw it out there, I was like, nothing,
I got one. Come on now.
I wanted one for a long time, and this is a perfect cause.
And we've had a message from Dr. Doreen Grampachet, who says, Shannon, I love your new hairstyle. Thank you. It's going to change significantly in the next couple of minutes. Somebody else who writes in and says, looking great. Now, you had some messages that came in.
From Las Vegas, Nevada, we've got Beverly Nelson Peters, who's just a love, just had her 50th birthday. I hope it's okay that I say that, but you know, I'm way ahead of you. I'm 50. And Beverly's watching from Las Vegas, and that's exciting. And Eileen Fogarty is watching from downtown. She just moved. I almost said the west side, but she's downtown. So hi, Eileen, and hi, Beverly. I'm glad you guys are watching.
I have to say, I just had my 50th birthday in September, and years ago, recently,
September.
And years ago, a friend of mine, for her 50th birthday, she shaved her head, and it looked so bad. Can I tell you, like, there was a big thing afterwards. She said, I'm doing it, I'm setting myself free at 50, and it looked so bad, and I wrote down in my journal, note to self, do not shave your head for your 50th birthday under no circumstances.
Oh, well.
And yet here I am.
Well, but
it's not for my 50th birthday. It's for Ryan. For Ryan Eoff. You can check him out on Facebook.
Let's remind everybody what we're doing today.
Yes.
Autism Awareness Month. Shannon is doing an act of compassion for a man who is battling cancer.
Yes, a dad, a young dad,
a young dad named
daughter.
Ryan Eoff.
Ryan Eoff.
Okay.
You can find his Facebook page and see pictures of Ryan at Fighting for Ryan. So go to Facebook, Fighting for Ryan. So I haven't met Ryan. I don't know him, but his story touched me at a time when I felt like I needed to do something.
Right.
And I know we've talked about this before, ladies, as autism parents, that sometimes your own stuff piles up and there's nothing you can do about it, but having the opportunity to do something for somebody else lightens our load, and it gives to them.
It puts it in perspective, right, Monica?
It puts it in perspective, and it gives you a lot of energy.
It does.
It's amazing how much more energy I have when I'm putting something into somebody else. Then I remember, like, and then I can do this for myself.
Yeah,
exactly.
Right? It's easier. And sometimes when I'm struggling, I've been told this, and it's worked for me. Think of you as your sister, like my sister who I love, or think of you as a friend. Would you treat a friend like that? Would you ignore a friend's need? Try to think of yourself like that, which is hard to do.
It's hard.
It's hard to do.
It's hard to be kind and love yourself. But self-love and love for others, and when you give back, you receive. That is just, we know, it's scientific. There were studies done that show that what makes people feel better is to do something good for somebody else. It takes you out of your own sort of self-absorbed place, too, because it's really easy. You know, when we're going through tough times as autism moms, I call it the kitchen floor club, when you're down on that kitchen floor saying, why me?
Right.
Well, you know, why not? Because let's face it, we all have special abilities that allow us to be the best parents we can to these children. And we can go beyond that and help others by sharing, by giving them that pat on the back. So we've asked you to do a few things today to give kind words of encouragement to another person going through a struggle. We've asked you to volunteer at a shelter, homeless shelter, maybe a senior center, maybe going and playing with a school where they have disabled children, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Have a fundraiser for Act Today. We're asking you to donate to Act Today, $1. Everything helps. Throwing a lemonade sale, a brownie sale, a car wash for your high school. Go to act-today.org. Learn more. Here's a good one.
Guys, Matt Asner.
I love
Matt. Speaks. Great shot. Way to go, Shannon.
Well, Matt, we love you.
Matt, we want you to come and be on the show soon.
Yeah, we definitely want Matt on the show. And will you please tell your father that I still have the biggest crush on him. And I heard that he's getting better. He had a little setback.
Yes.
And one of the greatest moments of my life when I said, please tell me just one thing. You got spunk, girl. And he told me that, and it's one of my all-time favorite moments.
And, of course, Ed Asner, one of those remarkable people that we were talking about the other day, both a grandfather of a child on the spectrum and a dad.
Right.
You know,
we love the
Asners.
Asners.
Everything you can.
Yeah.
Everything you can.
They're the greatest guys.
Nelson Peters in Las Vegas just says to me, "Yay, 50 and proud. Don't be afraid to say it." So she's happy I said she's 50.
Good.
Okay,
I'm going to be 58 in May.
No, you should not disclose that. You look too good for that.
Great. I can't wait.
We have to take a little bit of a break here. I think we might get some scissors to help Mark out. You're plugging away. You're just being so good working away at it, but we've gotten to the thick part of my hair.
I have another suggestion. It's something that Dr. Doreen is doing. So,
yes?
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Dr. Doreen, our fearless leader at CARD and who founded Act Today, is having her 25th celebration of her 25th birthday next weekend. And she, in lieu of gifts, is asking for donations to go to Act Today.
That's a great idea.
Isn't it?
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and Susan Cross, who comes in here as one of our our lifestyle expert for autism moms, she and I are holding a birthday beauty bazaar where we're giving others manicures, pedicures, spray tans, all this, and in lieu of gifts, donations to Act Today.
Love it. All right, more ideas of what you can do for compassionate action and more head shaving after these messages. Stick with us.
You say howdy, we say hi. Let's get rowdy, let's get wild. Let's get wild. Let's get wild. Let's get wild. Let's get wild.
Hi, welcome back to Autism Live. I'm Lisa Ackerman. We're here doing allergy-free cooking, and I brought my sister with me today.
Jamie Davis. Thanks for having me.
A lot of people are asking about an allergy-free breakfast, and breakfast can be full of crap.
But it's full of crap, and it's hard to do. We don't have time in the morning. We're in a hurry.
We're going completely nut-free. The recipe is not...
Personality, we can't do anything about.
Yeah, can't do anything about that. So we're going to start off first with... I'm using sorghum and brown rice flour. I find the texture good, and I've added some flaxseed meal. We talked about that last time, flaxseed meal for poop. Almost every one of our kids has a poop issue. What's next on the recipe is the quinoa flakes, baking powder, cinnamon, and the xanthan gum. It brings the glutinous texture back into the flour, and often what happens with these recipes is they can fall apart. This one holds up nicely. I like it. For the folks that are egg-free, we have a ton of egg replacers. One of those can be the arrowroot starch or bringing back some additional flaxseed. So there's a lot of options to go eggless, but we're going to go egg-full in this one. For sweetener, I use the maple syrup. I stay away from refined sugar. What I'm adding now is the coconut milk, maple syrup, and a little bit of the coconut oil. And we're going to add in the raisins, craisins, and chocolate chips at the end. I find that chocolate chips can coax people to eat some really amazing things. When we started, Jeff had 42 food allergies, so we had to get creative in how we cooked. So nuts were a big, big issue. What I like now is that he can tolerate so many more things after start doing this diet. So let me show you how you can deal with this sticky stuff here. You get your fingers really wet, and you can push it down. So my oven has been preheated. It's at 350 degrees. So we're going to just throw this in. Like I said, I like it around 23 minutes. And the magic oven says, I'm done. Looks like, don't you love magic ovens? They're awesome. There we go. Pops right out. The texture of these, and it's so pretty. It looks almost like a big chocolate chip cookie, but you actually made it healthy. But you can be my guinea pig. Tell me what you think.
It looks really good.
Doesn't it? So the textures and the colors in there are just beautiful. So the raisins are for you, the chocolate chips are for your kid.
I can't believe it's gluten-free.
I know, right? It doesn't taste like, crap. We're wrapping up another cooking show. If you have feedback, you can email us at autismlive@gmail.com. We're, of course, on Facebook. You could go to facebook.com/autismlive. And of course, Talkin' Now has thousands of recipes. Join me there, and we can cook some more later on. So thanks for joining us.
You say howdy, we say hi. Let's get rowdy, let's get wild.
Welcome back to Autism Live. The crew gets bigger.
Party.
We're welcoming Alex Plank to the party. Alex from wrongplanet.net. If you have individuals that you know that are on the autism spectrum that are a little bit older, you got to go to wrongplanet.net. Alex has an amazing site there, and you're a filmmaker. You make amazing films.
Yes, that's true.
He's tweeting at the moment, in between, and which is important.
Tweeting and brushing.
Tweeting and brushing at the same time.
Live, Autism Live.
I got scissors.
Yes, I will stop moving because Mark has scissors. And of course, we have Mark Christopher Lawrence here, fabulous actor. You know him as Big Mike on Chuck, and now he's playing Unique's dad on Glee. And today he's a hairstylist. Let me know when you need me to take out my earpiece because we don't want to cut that. That would be bad. Would be really bad. So Mark is just working. The rest of us are sitting and having a party, and Mark is working.
And you know what? I gotta say, this is not a bad look.
It's really not.
I mean, once this side goes off, you know.
I can see in the monitor that I look like Bozo the Clown.
Well, that's because of the side piece.
That's just, we're in process.
That's where it's at. It's a process.
I'm looking at is you don't have like right corners on your head.
No.
You got a head for it.
Can I tell you, my mom
have a nice head.
My mom had a technique when babies were born of rolling them every so often so that it rounded out their heads so they didn't have a pointed head. So I've always wondered if it actually worked.
Wait, really explain this.
Nobody did that for me. I feel sure.
No, I don't think I've got
when babies
in
are,
my head.
Oh, I have those. When babies are born, you know, there's like the 3 pieces of the skull and there's the soft spot in the middle. Have you ever seen it on a newborn's? I'm sorry, I'm moving. On a newborn's head, there you see the pulse in the beginning, and over the first couple of months, it grows together. And if a baby gets laid on its back endlessly, sometimes they have a flat head.
Right.
Sometimes, you know, they have a pointed head or more to one side. And so my mother had this theory that if you rolled a baby, that you would get a perfectly round head. And I've always wondered if it was.
Well, I think it worked for you.
We're about to find out.
I think it worked for you.
So we'll see.
I do.
I think my sister rolled me down the stairs. Often.
Yeah. Well, okay. This is really coming along here. Yeah.
We had to give up on the clippers for a brief period of time because it's just too thick.
It's
too much hair.
It's too long,
okay, now
thick.
speaking of hair and like
and why we're doing this is compassion in action. We're asking everybody during this Autism Awareness Month to take some action to show compassion for someone else.
Yes.
My action is shaving my head for a young dad with cancer. Ryan Eoff. You can find him at Fighting for Ryan on Facebook. And I don't know Ryan, but there's a lovely picture of Ryan and his family. This is a young dad.
Oh, what a beautiful family.
Isn't that a lovely family? So we're doing our shout out to Ryan. This is for him. But of course, we're asking for all of you to find what your action is. How do you want to show compassion for somebody? And throughout the show, Nancy's been sharing with us different ideas of things that you can do. So Nancy, you've got another one, and this is a good one.
Yes.
This is the one that I need to do next.
Donate your clutter. Someone else needs it. Now, there are donation places all around our city, Los Angeles, for Salvation Army and other different places for homeless. It's time for spring cleaning, right? Anyway, ladies.
Yes.
And even if you did, if it's overwhelming to you, they say do one drawer a day or one drawer a week. And go in the closet. If you have not worn that old raincoat for 10 years, you're not going to wear it, right?
Well, somebody said if you don't wear something for an entire year.
Well, I'm not with that school. No, because I go back and pull my stuff out. I call it all vintage.
You're good. Oh.
You just have to revive it sometimes.
Vintage is good.
Vintage is good. But, there's a lot of stuff that I don't need and we don't need. And my husband and I are gradually clearing because he's a pack rat. And, another thing you can do is donate your hair. The wonderful Amy Zhang, who runs the office at Act Today, who, we couldn't operate without her. She has this gorgeous, she's Asian, and she has this gorgeous long dark hair. She will routinely grow it down to here, cut it, and donate it. And they make wigs out of it, and the proceeds go to cancer. So that's a wonderful way. You can grow your hair, cut it, donate it. You can get rid of your clutter, get rid of your clothes, give it to the homeless, give it to the needy, clear out your pantry, give it to the food pantry. Lots of ideas there. And what is this tweet that came in about?
Annette Funicello died.
Annette Funicello died, and I remember interviewing her when I did Vicki Lawrence's talk show.
Oh, my goodness.
And we went to her home, and I must say she was one of the nicest people I have ever met. So our thoughts and prayers are with Annette's family and all of her loved ones, and she'll always be with us, right?
She's so brave. I mean, she was so brave.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Like, this is what illness looks like. I'm
right.
definitely going to come out.
Yeah. Annette Funicello, we love you. And we're giving our thoughts and prayers to your family.
Absolutely.
So, any other tweets you got there, or call-ins, or
I've
comments?
got some stuff here I need to scroll down, but I don't want to move too much.
Okay, don't move too much.
Some people just writing in saying, love you, Shannon. We love you, too. So thrilled to have all of you here watching with us as we get down to the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, you've kind of got a checkerboard color look going on.
It
here.
is kind of cool.
Yeah. You know what?
Different colors. If you turn your head sideways, maybe
turn your head sideways.
When Lisa Gibbons was here, you ladies were talking about the fact that, you know, sometimes you cut and color your own hair.
Right.
Guilty as charged.
Right.
And I'm not good at getting. I think it's resistant on the back too. It's always been a problem, but it's color resistant.
Okay. It makes me wonder if roots are not harder to get. I mean, I have no idea. I don't know what my color is. I've lost track of what my actual color is.
My mother started putting summer blonde in my hair when I was 13 because she couldn't bear to see her blonde daughter go dark.
Yeah.
So I have no idea. Well, right now it's white, so I have no idea what's under here.
I found my first gray hair at 17. So.
Okay.
And I stopped dyeing my hair when I was pregnant with Jem. My theory was that if we were going to start with old eggs to begin with, that we should have all the other ingredients in the omelet be as fresh as possible.
Okay.
Because I was 40 when we had Jem. And my joke was always that I was going to keep my hair gray until someone called me grandma. And they did that when he was 8 days old. My stomach hadn't even gone down. And I said, oh, Grandma and Grandpa have the baby out.
Yeah. Well,
but I waited 2 years before I started dyeing it. So this will be interesting to see how much whiter it's gotten.
Now, are you going to, as it grows out,
yes,
are you going to let it grow out natural color?
I think for a while.
Yeah.
Let's like see what it looks like.
Yeah, that's what I would do.
It'd be cool.
Could be a good way to make the transition to all gray or all white.
And we'll have to ask Lorenzo when he comes in who's going to be...
Yes, Lorenzo from the Onyx Hair Salon is going to be joining us in just a little while to take it all the way down, as we said, the full Monty.
Down to the scalp.
Take the fuzz off. And so we can give poor Mark a break.
And does it come back in thicker? I mean, I have all these questions for him. Like, will it come back in still curly, or will it?
Yeah, I've got a bunch of questions for him.
I have had a lot of friends that have gone through chemo and lost their hair, and their hair has come back different.
But I've always wondered if that was from the chemo.
I don't know. I
think it is. I don't think I shave my hair every day, and it doesn't change. My hair.
Where do you shave it?
Well, I didn't shave today. I meant my.
Oh, you mean your beard? Yeah. Because you've got a great. Your hair is kind of your signature look.
Yeah, I don't really want to shave my head today.
No.
I mean, like
it's taken you a long time to get that look, hasn't it?
You know, it's just been refined over time.
Yeah. Do you train it with gel and that kind of thing?
I mean, like, not gel so much as some sort of product, like either like a paste or like a wax or a not usually wax,
and then you
like,
tip the ends with some color.
I don't do anything. I mean, other than like putting it like this.
Oh, really?
Like, the hair guy does everything else.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a very cool look, Alex. I like it. Very cool.
And you were telling me the other day that he does it in a really funky way, right?
Yeah, he does this weird thing where he like puts my hair into ponytails and like cuts so I have like all these little ponytails in my hair and he cuts like based on that and that gives it better texture.
Very cool. Now I'm going to get a haircut tomorrow because I thought I would cut mine a lot shorter. No thanks, Mark. No thanks.
Mark is here. He's got clippers.
No thanks.
Although I think we've just about killed these clippers. But
I am going to get mine shorter, Shannon, just to kind of feel a little more at home with you on Wednesday. So I'm going to chop a lot of this off tomorrow.
Wow.
So, I want to kind of show some solidarity with my girlfriend. But I was saying to Shannon, the last thing my husband said, because he knows me really well, I was walking out of the house and he said, Nancy, and I turned around and he goes, just because Shannon's shaving her head, don't do it. And I said, honey, I'm not going to do it. He goes, yeah, we'll see. Because he knows that I am always one to jump on a bandwagon.
Well, it's very interesting that how many people have said, well, you're not asking me to shave my head, are you? And I've said, no, heavens no. How I heard about Ryan and Ryan's story, it was, I'll be honest with everybody, that we lost my mom to cancer in December of this last year. And it was the same week of the Newtown massacre.
Right.
When we talk about bad week,
yes.
You know, my mom died, and I, you know, you have that moment where you go, okay, this is a bad week. And
yes.
you don't really vocalize it, but there's that thought about, you know, does it get worse than this? And of course, it can always get worse.
Always.
And I was reminded of that on that Friday. It was my first day back after my mom's funeral, and Emily told me during a break that she said there's something terrible happening in Connecticut.
Oh my gosh.
And it was in the 24 hours after that I kept describing it and saying, my hands feel empty. I don't know what to do. My hands feel empty. I have no power at this moment. There's nothing I can say. I'd like to do something for someone. And that was when my niece said, just in a completely unrelated story, she was telling me about a young man that she was aware of in her church that was going through brain cancer, a young dad. And she said, you know, at the church they had done a fundraiser, and they'd asked who would like to shave their head. And I guess something like 21, 22 young men stepped up and said, we will shave our heads in support for Ryan. And she was commenting on the fact that no women had offered. And that was the moment, there was just something about that I said, really, not a single woman? Because I know a lot of women are very attached to their hair.
Yes.
And I certainly have, you know, I've always been attached to it before, but in that moment it was something I could do.
Right.
I had the power to say, okay, I will shave my head for
That
Ryan.
really spoke to you.
Yeah, you know, and just sometimes something sing, but we're saying to people at home, what sings to you? What cause sings to you? What action sings to you? What talents do you have? What would you like to do for somebody else to show compassion?
Yeah, we have also, we mentioned this as part of another one, feed someone or donate to your local food bank.
Yeah.
You know, I have a friend, and sometimes you see homeless people at certain places, and they may be asking for money. He carries a 6-pack of soups in his car and water. And whenever he encounters a homeless person that says they need food or whatever, he will give them a can of soup and a thing of water, which is a lovely gesture. And that's something you might want to think about. Just have those cans of soup in your car.
Absolutely. What a lovely...
That reminds me, when I lived in New York, I noticed that most of the I didn't have any money at all, but most of the homeless people did not have socks. So I bought like a big pack of tube socks from, you know, the dollar store.
Right.
And I would carry them in my backpack, and I would just give them tube socks. And sometimes they would be really mad that they didn't want the tube socks. They wanted money. On the other hand, I felt like I was doing everything I could. It was what I could afford.
Yeah.
But it was also, I wasn't walking away from them. I wasn't ignoring a need of some kind. So even the littlest thing that you
The littlest things. It's also a great, to be a model for your children. What you can do is you can put together a little piggy bank and have your children collect coins, and also if they do chores at home, you can give them, you know, 25 cents for their chores, and then have them donate every so often when that piggy bank gets full. Have them donate that to a charity or a homeless shelter or something. Teach your children well. Teach them the beauty of giving back to the world, because it really does start when they're young. Don't you agree?
I agree, and it's been interesting in our lives with Will's, my son, because he had trouble partying with anything, small or otherwise.
So does Wyatt.
So it was really,
Yeah.
So even like a little board book or something, it would say, wow, you're done with that board book. I think we should give it to another child. And he would be so distraught and grief-stricken over that board book. And now he's very good about giving. So what we said was, okay, let's not give things away. Let's give of ourselves. What can we do of ourselves? So he decided that he would take his puppy and let people play with his puppy and talk to them about a golden. That's what he could do. At the time. But now he's very good at giving. But with the autism, it was a real...
We had to work on that in therapy, too, where we would have a donation box, and the therapist would have him take... Because he would not want to part with the runaway bunny. And he was, you know, 9 or 10. And, you know, Mommy, I want this book. So that was hard for us, Monica. And it's great to teach your children, you know, when they've outgrown clothes, have them pack it up with you, take it to the Salvation Army for the donation. Really good thing to do. Shannon, I have to say you have beautiful eyes, and they show up more with your hair like this.
Can I say, this is a very surreal experience.
I was going to say, how are you?
This is bizarre. I just had that moment of reality. It was like, oh my gosh, I have no hair, and I'm standing around with a bunch of people.
I can't even imagine how you feel because that's surreal for me. And I still have my hair.
Yeah. But I have like a fur collar on.
And you have beautiful ears. I know that's a weird thing to say, but my ears stick out. Which
I was afraid of that, so good to know.
Gorgeous ears.
You'll get to wear great earrings.
And are you exhausted, Mark? Are you? I can see all the gray that's
I'm telling you, I think
you're standing here.
You've done a
like
really
work and
good job. You've done a really good job.
You have done a good job.
This is my first time.
That's right. This is not his first dog and pony show. The man has talents.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a pretty uniform there.
Woo!
I gotta say,
and Alex,
we're going to go to break, I think. And you know what? I think we should. Yeah, I think we should shed you.
Yes, we need to
take
shed
the
me.
sweater off.
Don't they have that thing that sucks up all the hair or like blows?
Yeah, I don't know if we have that here. We don't have all the tools.
Was that
Alex, we don't have all the tools.
You know when you go to the barbershop?
It's amazing feeling. Everybody has to feel it before we do the big shave. Yes, let's go to break.
And we'll be back with acts of compassion. More acts of compassion.
Stick with us. More.
All right.
Another parent wants to know, how do I find out that one thing that my kid is really good at?
Now, when they get older, they're going to kind of divide into two groups. You're going to have the kids that become verbal, and then you're going to have the kids that are nonverbal, got many more problems. Maybe they still have epilepsy or some other problem. And they kind of need different services. And the ones that get verbal, what we need to be doing with them is develop the area of strength. And that area of strength often will show up around 3rd or 4th grade, sometimes earlier. But my ability in art showed up when I was in 3rd and 4th grade, and it was always encouraged. And I was encouraged to do lots of different kinds of art. Otherwise, it would have just been endless horse heads. You know, Mother would say to me, why don't you draw a picture of a beach or something else? You want to broaden it out. If the kid's fixated on trains, let's teach reading with trains, math with trains. Tap into that fixation, but develop the area of strength. Some kids it's going to be art. Other kids it's going to be mathematics. So you got a 3rd grader who's smart in math, and he wants a 6th grade math book. Give him the 6th grade math book. Don't bore him with the baby stuff. But that kid's going to have trouble with reading, because the common thing is the uneven skills. And then you have the kids that are the history buffs, and these kids are often really good at writing skills. You tend to have uneven skills, but tap into their fixations and use those to motivate, but broaden. If he likes trains, just watching them, well, we're going to take that interest in trains to do some math with it, or maybe read about the history of the railroad. You know, tap into that motivation. One of the things I really want to talk about is we got to stretch these kids. I'm not talking about physically stretching them, mentally stretching them to do new things. I'm seeing too many kids that haven't learned how to shop, how to order food at McDonald's. So you start out, let's say it's ordering food at McDonald's or at Burger King. So you take them up there and they watch you order it. And then eventually you go in when the store's not busy, and they have to go up and order it while you're sitting at the table watching, and then you coach them. And then eventually they can go in the restaurant themselves. I can remember I was scared to go to the lumber yard alone and buy lumber. And Mother made me go. And she knew I could do it. I had bought lumber with her many times. But there's a tendency to want to have somebody else there when they do it, and they've got to learn how to do things alone. And you gradually have got to kind of push it. You've got to stretch them. And I'm seeing too many kids not learning basic skills. Saw a 19-year-old honors student that actually knows how to drive that had never shopped in the grocery store all by herself. That is just ridiculous. You know, you've got to stretch them. You push too hard, there can be panic. And the other thing is no surprises. No surprises. I knew all about the ranch long before I went there. I talked to Ann. But if you don't stretch these kids, they don't grow.
We are back with a new Shannon. And we are back with, this is what was Shannon's hair, by the way. And we are joined by some of our greatest friends and supporters. We have Alex Plank from Wrong Planet. We have Monica Holloway, Autism Mom, activist and author of Cowboy and Wills. And we have the wonderful Mark Christopher Lawrence, who is a big Act Today autism supporter and comedian, and can currently be seen on Glee and from Chuck. And Mark did the honors of the new hairdo, which he did the first shearing.
The initial takedown.
And now we have Lorenzo.
Yes.
Who, interestingly enough, has done Will's hair.
This is how we connected with him.
Yes. So,
and he's got a new thing.
This is Will's as a little baby. Lorenzo didn't know Will's as a little baby. So Lorenzo cut Will's hair on Friday.
Oh, all right.
And he had a lot of hair, and he really did a good job. He did it beautifully. And Will's is very happy with it, excited. He went back to school from spring break today. Yeah. And he said as he was leaving, I can't wait to show everybody my new haircut.
Oh, good. I know. Haircuts are a big deal.
So we were happy to see Lorenzo.
And we have to say that Lorenzo is from the Onyx Salon in Sherman Oaks. And that he has graciously agreed to come and finish the job here. So thank you so much, Lorenzo.
Look at
Mark, not that you didn't do a great job, but...
Well, you got the good clip.
I got the... Oscar clippers. He's got the serious clippers.
All right, now your friend Beverly Nelson Peters has said that Shannon looks great. Not everyone can pull it off, Shannon. You are beautiful inside and out.
Well, thank you, Beverly.
Ellen Fogarty has said, Eileen said Shannon looks great. Everybody is, so far, all rave reviews on you.
Well, we'll see how we feel about it as the week goes on. Now, one of the things that we've been talking about why we're doing this. It's compassion in action. We're asking everybody for Autism Awareness Month to do one action, to do something nice for someone else. Show compassion. We've been giving you ideas. I'm shaving my head to show compassion for a young dad who is battling cancer, Ryan Eoff. And you can find his Facebook page at Fighting for Ryan. But we've been giving you some other ideas of things that you can do. And Nancy, we've got another one.
Volunteer your time and expertise to someone who can use it. I just recently told my church that I would teach painting, still life painting, because I love to paint, and I've taught painting in workshops and things. I'm going to do still life painting for the Sunday school kids. And we'll put together a still life, and I'll go get some canvases and some acrylics and spend some time on a Sunday teaching kids how to paint. Because that'll give me joy to see what they can do. And this all goes back to, and especially for autism moms, if you've kind of been through some of the worst parts, you know, when your child is younger and they're going through some of the really tough times, if you come out on the other side, spend some time helping another mom, you know, and you can do that in a formal way. You can become a TACA mentor.
Absolutely.
You can become a Generation Rescue Angel.
Absolutely.
There are groups that take people, right?
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Because everybody needs advice from somebody who's been through it. And you do a lot of that with Wrong Planet. It's a forum for those on the spectrum to share, right, Alex?
Yeah, and people go on there. We have more than 75,000 members from all over the world, everywhere from Denmark, Sweden, obviously the United States, Canada, UK, Australia. And people go on there and they can connect with one another. It's not just for people with autism. It's parents of people with autism. We have a large parent community.
Okay.
And we have how-to guides and video tutorials on flirting and how to go on a date, or how to ask or how to make friends and stuff.
I love that. So if you do have a child, or maybe as a teen or a tween, and they're looking for pointers on how to do this, so this is really, you took your expertise in this field and you've used it as a forum to help others, which is the greatest joy we get, is from giving to others. And it's actually, they've done scientific studies that show that your serotonin levels rise, and there's the number one thing to boost your mood is to help someone else. Absolutely. So we're urging everybody to do that. If you'd like to make a donation to Act Today, you can go to act-today.org. There's a donation button. If you'd like to throw a fundraiser, a lemonade stand for your kids can do this summer. It's starting to get warm out there. You could do a bake sale at your church or your school. If you're a teenager, you could hold a car wash. You can also do, you can have a party or a barbecue and ask everybody to make a donation. Birthday parties. Our founder, at ACT Today, Dr. Doreen Grant-Pichet, who runs the Center for Autism and Related Disorder, is celebrating the 25th anniversary of her 25th birthday this weekend, and she's asking in lieu of gifts, donations be made to ACT Today. So these are all ways that people can support that are easy.
Absolutely.
But Will's held a dog wash.
A dog wash.
Wonderful.
We had little plastic pools all over the yard. And then we had big signs. We had a wonderful turnout, and people came in, and Will's and his friends washed the dogs and blow-dried them if they would let them. And it was whatever they wanted to donate.
That's fun.
And then we gave it back to Autism Speaks, actually, and it was a great day.
That's what Susan Cross, who is a regular on Let's Talk Autism with me and Shannon, we are doing a birthday beauty bazaar at her home, and we're giving people the gifts. We're doing mani-pedis, spray tans, makeup, hair, and if they feel compelled to bring a gift, we're saying donations will be graciously accepted to ACT Today, but no gifts. This is giving back to them.
And something we're going to do right now, I have my copy of Cowboy and Wills, this fabulous book that Monica has written. And I read this long before I had the opportunity to meet Monica. So when I first got to meet you after I'd read the book, it was so exciting to me, and I got a chance to meet Wills. This is a hilarious book. Can I just tell you, I mean, it's a book that's very tender and poignant and about a relationship between a child who happens to be on the spectrum and his first dog. But I laughed. I can only say there are less than 5 books in my life that I have laughed out loud while reading them. And this is one of them.
Oh, thank you.
So this happens to be my personal copy of Cowboy and Wills. It even has a couple of Post-its in it. I was looking through it earlier. One in particular that on page 34 I posted because you talked about marriage, and I wanted my husband to read this page.
Yeah, it's
and
important.
I think there's a spaghetti stain on page 199. Yes. So, you know, because I couldn't put it down, you know. I mean, so I would be sitting there reading and eating. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask Monica to sign this particular, with spaghetti stain and all, as if somebody wants my spaghetti stain. But, yeah, right there, spaghetti stain, page 199.
Okay.
I'm going to ask her to sign this, and we're going to give this to the first person who commits to giving a donation to ACT Today.
Yeah, and it can be any amount.
It can be any amount.
So the first
person who gets on the live feature and says, I donated
to ACT Today. You can go to act-today.org.
And I will send this book to you.
We'll send it to you, signed by Monica Holloway.
And we're also, okay, lots of people writing in. But, we've got people watching in Rochester, New York.
Yay, Rochester.
Yes. So I'm very familiar with Rochester. I hope it stops snowing there. I went to college and then eventually taught college in upstate New York at State University of New York at Oswego, where Al Roker also went to school. Al, a fellow alum.
Okay. Here's another suggestion. Write a letter to someone and let them know they're doing a good job, which is a wonderful thing to do. And also, I would go one step further and say, just pick up one of those cards. You know, I'm very attracted to what some people might be considered mushy, but I think it's very nice sometimes to pick up a card that just says how much somebody means to you.
Yes.
You know, remember when going to the mailbox was a joy instead of like, oh, what bills do I have? Because people wrote.
Right.
You know, now we're always writing on Facebook or we're on Twitter or whatever. Just pick up a card that says how much somebody means to you and sign it, I love you. You know, you're in my heart always. And that can just change somebody's day. So I like the shaving cream.
I was going to say, the shaving cream
kind of smells good, too.
Is it soothing? Is it kind of...
Yes, this is
a
a nice
special kind of shaving cream, Lorenzo?
I actually brought this in because I'm so allergic to so many things. So I said to him, I'm going to bring in, and we are...
It's a hypoallergenic?
Alba Botanica. It's lovely, it's the very emollient foam shave. It's mango vanilla. That's
why we smell it.
Yeah, it does
Soothing
smell
and
good.
conditioning, because I have a very dry scalp,
and you know what?
I didn't want to share with all of you, but I don't really have a choice.
And platinum hair would look good on you because the white is kind of. If you ever go all white, it's going to be a good look.
And so we're starting.
Do you have a good shaped head? Because some
We've
people,
been
when
saying
they shave
that.
their head, they
yeah,
have really
bumpy
weird.
and Shannon said that her mother rolled her around when she was a baby to make sure her head was nicely
Now,
formed.
Mark gave me some good suggestions over the weekend about the fact that my skin is going to get a little bumpy once the hair starts to come back in. But, you know, I have to say, you can always tell who your friends are by the people who will tell you the truth. And Mark took me aside on Saturday and said, now look, you need to get a product.
Okay. What product?
That's going to help.
Well, Skin Tight is my favorite. It stings, but
but it kind of
it stops you from bumping up.
Stops you from bumping up.
And would we know this, ladies? Would we have known this?
No, but can we use it on our legs when they bump up?
Remember that other product? What was it? Tin Skin.
You gotta open it.
And it was so harsh. You know, it's similar to that, but not as.
Okay, because sometimes I get shaving rash on my legs. Do you get shaving rash on your legs?
Not anymore, but as a younger person.
I do. Skin Tight. Okay, we're getting some good beauty tips here.
And you remember about the song? Skin Tight.
Yeah. Okay. All right. But you know what? If showbiz ever doesn't work out, I think you should open a salon. So Shannon, we've been asking you. You've said that, you know, depending on how it turns out, are you going to sport the shave, the bald look? Or are you going to wear scarves? Or are you going to just be proud?
I think I'm going to try a bunch of different things.
Okay.
But I think I have a sneaking suspicion that I will go au naturel a lot of the time.
A lot.
But we'll see. I mean,
and of course, everybody's going to assume you're going through chemo, so get used to that.
Well, you know, and I had a really nice conversation with a lady on Sunday who had recently lost her hair to chemo, and she was also giving me some advice too about getting hats so that I don't get cold and that the body temperature doesn't suddenly drop. And,
right.
Of course, it's already April here in Southern California.
It's not like you're not in Rochester.
Right. No, we are not in upstate New York with lake effect snows right now.
Right.
But, you know, so we'll see. I mean, I think it'll be interesting. And my hair grows really fast. Now, you said, Mark, that you had to shave yours every 2 days to get it to stay bald. So I'm thinking by Friday I'm going to have a crew cut. And maybe by next week I'll have, like, hair this long.
I think just from cutting your hair and feeling the density of it, I think in about 2 days, maybe 3, you'll be at that point where I said that it's hard to stop touching it.
Oh, yeah.
Baby chick face.
I have a hat I'm going to bring you on Wednesday. It's actually a beautiful head scarf, but it covers everything, and it's got some, I mean, it is drop dead gorgeous, and I'm going to give that to you for special occasions because I think you might want to wear it.
But I will say, I have a huge head, as you can all see now. It's not like I'm keeping it a secret at this moment in time. I remember when I was pregnant with Jem, and I went in, and I was so convinced I was going to have an all-natural childbirth. We were going to do Lamaze and Lavoie. I wanted to do the thing where my husband took him and put him in the warm bath of water, and he would do the little coo. You know, that they show with babies. And we went in, and they were doing one of the ultrasounds, I think at like 30 weeks, and the doctor put his hand on me, and he said, I just want you to look in the mirror and then look at your husband's head and let go of the idea that this child is coming down any canal. The two of you have the biggest heads we've ever seen ever.
Okay.
This is a C-section.
Right.
Oh, wow.
If ever I've seen one.
Okay.
And he was more than 10 pounds.
Right.
So I'm sure I should be grateful.
Yes, to that doctor.
But that's a hard moment. That's a big, when you have to give that up.
Did you birth Wills via the...
I love Wills dearly, but I shouldn't have birthed him the way I birthed him.
Well, I took the easy way out.
You had the best way.
I had the best way. The baby, the birth mother, Maggie, gave birth to Wyatt, and he was handed right to me, and I gave him his first birth.
And you got to go right for a manicure afterwards.
Well, actually, I stayed in the hospital with him for 2 nights, and it was just they put me on the maternity ward so I could bond with him like any mother bonds with her infant, and incredibly emotional experience to be there like that. But Mark, I didn't have to go through the 9 months.
No kids. We need to foist some children off on him.
He has enough. He's got nephews and nieces and all kinds. Yeah.
And Alex, you have plans to have children?
Not anytime soon.
Not this week, but ever.
This week.
Is it on the list of things to do to be a dad sometime?
Well, I don't really have a list of things to do, but I mean, it's not on the list of things not to do.
There we go. That's a great answer.
Yeah, that's a perfect.
That's kind of how I was, Alex. At your age, and it was evident later in life that having a child was something I needed to do.
And I know Lorenzo has a dog, but you guys don't have a child of your own.
No, but I wish we did.
I know.
Dogs are children with fur. Dogs are always children.
He has a beautiful dog.
I call them angels, fur angels.
That's right.
Dogs.
What kind of dog, Lorenzo?
He's a Jack Russell Terrier.
Oh, I have a Jack Russell. We've had several. I love them. They're the best. They're the best.
So, Lorenzo, at the Onyx Salon, how often do you get a woman come in and say, take it all the way down to the scalp?
Not often. but do I do get women that come in for short haircuts, and I love doing short haircuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Well, you and Britney Spears.
Yes,
she shaved her head once. Yeah,
yes,
remember that?
Oh,
yes.
Did she do that for charity though?
No, she did it. I think spur of the moment, or I don't know. Brittany, are you listening? Tweet us and write us. We're happy to
tell
hear.
you, this is a very freeing feeling. When I think about the time that I'm going to save, that I would have spent washing my hair, scrunching my hair.
Right. Well, that's when I think all women at some point go, I just wish I could be bald, because hair is such a thing for women.
Yes.
And I guess for men too, because look at what happens when a lot of men lose their hair. They're so desperate to keep it and do the plugs and all of that, right?
Well, the way I look at it is, it could be worse. It could hurt.
That's right.
You walk down the street and you lose a hair.
Yeah.
Well, that is hilarious. Okay, I'm going to be passing that one on.
Right. My husband was almost completely bald when I met him, and when I see pictures of him when he had hair, it's so foreign looking to me. I much prefer him bald. I think he's much more handsome.
Lorenzo, let's see your head of hair.
Please.
Okay, can you take off Lorenzo's hat?
Alex, can you take it off?
You got it?
Okay.
There you go.
See?
It looks great.
I shaved this morning too, as well.
Yeah.
So we have a theme going on here.
Is it hard to shave your own head?
Not really.
What?
No.
I can't see all of it.
You just feel around, yeah.
That's true.
Just feel around.
I just don't want to cut my head. I mean, it's one thing if shaving, but
the buzzers don't cut. Yeah.
Well, and this is why we asked Lorenzo to come in and do this, because I didn't want to put poor Mark in the position of cutting my head, and we know that if you cut yourself on your head, it bleeds worse than any place else.
Yes, right. About a nerve ending. So.
Right. So beware if anybody, if anybody is inspired by seeing what Shannon's doing today, don't try this alone. Make sure you have somebody as competent as Mark to do the initial cut at least, and then have a certified barber, hairstylist do the shaving, because you could end up with a nasty rash otherwise. Right. And if you're inspired to do this, but we would like to inspire you by what Shannon is doing. Shannon's whole goal today was to inspire everybody to do an act of compassion. And we'd love to hear your ideas for what you would like to do for Autism Awareness Month to show compassion to others. Yes. It's something we think the world needs more of. Absolutely. And I think everybody can agree to that. And if it's in the area of autism, we'd love to hear it. Of course, Autism Speaks has the big walk coming up. Yep. So that's a fabulous, here in Los Angeles, that's a fabulous act of compassion to take part in that. We had many military families and families of children with autism at our Act a Day for Military Families run on Saturday, participating, and those Marines, did you see them running in formation? That was something to behold.
I thought the best thing was when you were getting them warmed up, Nancy. There's Nancy in her cute little shorts, just rocking the whole thing, and she's up there leading a bunch of Marines and going, all right, everybody stretch to the left, stretch to the right. And they're playing this rockin' music, and I was like, look at you, girl. Look at you,
and I wore my dad's Marine Corps hat because my dad was a Marine in World War II in the South Pacific, and he just passed away last summer. And it just was our military families inspire me so much, especially the military families with autism, because, man, it's tough enough serving our country. And then when you involve that with a child on the spectrum and a parent often deployed. So you can make a donation to Act a Day for Military Families by going on our website, act-today.org. And
I'm going to run down we're going to take a short little break.
Okay.
Before we go to break, I'm going to run down some of the things that we have going on this week on the show. show.
Lots of fun
things. So I'm going to remind everybody that tomorrow, Tuesday, here in the studio, we're going to be interviewing Yolanda Baker. She's the author of the book, Bite Your Bills, Cutting Medical Costs for the Disabled. The subtitle, How I Got $28,000 Back in Medical Expenses. We're going to be talking to her about how to do some last-minute tax things we can do to help ourselves to get more money back so that you can have more money to use for the kinds of treatment that you need. And we're also going to be talking to her about what medical expenses we can include on our taxes. So that should be really good. So Yolanda's going to be with us tomorrow. And we'll also have board-certified behavior analyst Evelyn Gould with us tomorrow answering your questions on the live feature. If you've got things going on at home that you'd like some expert help with. Then on Wednesday, first we have Ask Dr. Doreen with Dr. Doreen Grampachet. She'll be here with us in the studio answering your questions live. Then Nancy will join us for Let's Talk Autism with Shannon and Nancy. We've got a couple of great guests coming in that day.
We do. There's a new production here in Los Angeles at the Fountain Theater called On the Spectrum. It has gotten rave reviews for the performances of the two young actors playing. It's a love story about two young people on the spectrum trying to navigate their way through a romantic relationship. And rave reviews will have the playwright here and the two leads in the play. So
I believe they're on the spectrum, aren't they? That's what I read in the LA Times.
I'm not sure.
I think they
but
are.
that's going to be interesting to
And there was a rumor
find
at one point that you were going to be joining us as well on Wednesday, Mark. Is that true, or are we having you come back another day?
Well, I didn't know. I didn't know if it was going to be this Wednesday, but
well, we can make it whatever Wednesday. Okay. This house is open to you.
You're always.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do then for Autism Month is if someone donates $1,000, I'll let them shave my face and head.
Okay.
All right.
You heard it here. If someone donates $1,000 to Act Today, he will let them shave Mark Christopher Lawrence.
And I haven't been without a mustache since high school.
So we
this is like
that's a throwdown.
So $1,000, and you can personally shave Mark Christopher Lawrence's.
That is much braver.
Yeah,
than me.
that's
because I might cry.
How about your chest?
Oh, no.
Don't let that chest hair come.
All right.
I was thinking more, that'd be painful. I'm picturing the
40-year-old virgin?
Yes, I like the chest hair, just saying.
Yeah, guys wax that now. I find that weird.
That's so painful. I also want to mention that on Thursday, Rose Morris from Abrams Bed is going to be with us. She's an autism mom who invented the safety sleeper. This is a bed to help with kids who elope. So we're going to be talking with her.
Okay.
And then also Richard Everett is going to be with us from the United States of Autism. This is a new film that's out.
I'm in that movie.
You're in that
You're
movie.
in it.
So we're going to be joined by Richard on Thursday.
You are just a star.
And on Friday, a friend that you introduced me to just a couple of weeks ago, Nick Guzman, is going to be with us on Friday.
Who's Nick?
He's a wonderful singer and guitar player on the spectrum. He's opening on Saturday night for the Autism Speaks event here, where it's Crosby, Stills.
He's playing on stage with Crosby.
With Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
An amazing young man, a talented young man, and he's going to be with us on Friday, as well as Dr. Jonathan Tarbox on that day.
Oh, wow.
So that's our week. Lorenzo, are we done?
We are done, darling.
Okay, pretty amazing. We have to say thank you to Lorenzo.
Done it.
Here it is.
Thank you, Lorenzo, for assisting. Yay, Shannon!
All right, we're going to take a short break, regroup, and we're going to be back with more Compassion in Action after this.
Cool.
Just go like this. Can you see me? Puedes mirarme aquí? Okay. Hi, I'm Rebecca Ishida. Say hi, Ethan.
Hi.
My son was diagnosed with autism in November 2004. With Ethan, almost immediately, we noticed things that were troublesome, that he just didn't sleep. He would vomit in the crib. There were a lot of sensory issues.
Then he'd have like 20 of the trains lined up, and if you came in and took one train out, just meltdown completely.
Guttural instinct is to think that there's nothing wrong. Who wants to look at their child and go, there's something wrong with that child? You don't. You always want to see the best in your child.
Will my kid be able to go to school? Will he interact with his peers? Will he be able to have a healthy relationship? Will he get married? I really thought that autism was like a death sentence. A lot of hope was given to me through CARD. This was my third agency and the best agency we had. And there was no way in the world I was going to give up CARD because of the gains I saw Ethan was having. And I remember when Doreen saw us for the evaluation, she says, but by the time he's 6, he will be recovered. And that's exactly what happened.
I'll fix that.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. She did it. She did it.
So we have to take a minute to thank a bunch of people here, and then we have to excuse them to let them go back to their lives. So first of all, to Mark Christopher Lawrence, thank you so much. What a trooper to come in and do this for us. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you.
It was fun.
And we look forward. We're going to have you on the show again to sit and talk with you, where you get to, take a load off and really enjoy yourself and enjoy us. But we're going to keep watching for you on Glee. Hope to see more of you as Unique's dad. That needs to happen.
That'd be good.
That's cool.
We need to thank Monica Holloway for being here and always adding to the conversation.
Yes.
Such a wonderful writer and advocate and
great autism mom.
And the fabulous Lorenzo from the Onyx Salon here in Sherman Oaks. Thank you so much for doing a great job and getting it all the way done.
You did a great job too as well.
Yes, we couldn't have done it without all of you. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, Nancy and I are going to spend some time talking with Alex, and we're going to keep hearing from you guys. If you've got actions that you're going to take for Compassion in Action, we'll look forward to hearing about those.
Great.
But thank you, all of you.
Thank you. It's been a great party.
Thank you. We'll be back after these messages.
Yay.
When Maddie was diagnosed, I'll be honest, I was very ignorant on what autism was. I knew that autism was basically something that hit boys at the age of 2 to 3. They shut down, and sometimes you think of the typical Rain Man movie. And with Maddie, she was doing all the same signs and symptoms of a typical child with autism spectrum disorder.
Stand up.
She didn't even acknowledge us coming into the room. She had barely any eye contact. She didn't interact with her sisters. She didn't really do anything. She just basically lined up her toys, and that was about it. We have a team of 7 volunteers, or 8 now. We have 8 volunteers, including my husband and I. And I'm the team leader, and so I do all the curriculum and get everything ready each week.
Jana was downstairs until 11 o'clock at night working on curriculum, going through 2 different textbooks. And then we, as a group, meet on Monday nights, and we would go through what the curriculum was from Jana. And a lot of times we would go, well, how exactly do you do that? How do you sit her at the table and do this trial base? What Skills has done for us, it's taken that away from Jana trying to figure out the curriculum for one. She can go down, or even our laptop, and she can sit down, and through all these questions, it comes up with the different programs.
At least for me, it was a relief off my shoulders. I was worried that I might be missing something, missing a curriculum that maybe she needs to know, where Skills, they have every possible thing your child needs to know from 0 to 7. They have a program for that.
What noise is this?
Good job.
Every program that we did with her, I knew it was specific for what she needed to learn. Because before Skills, it was a lot of, okay, well, is that really age appropriate for a 2-year-old? You know, because it's not generalized. It's anywhere from 0 to 7. This is what your child needs to know. In most manuals, you'll find. But for this, okay, yep, she should be learning this. And no, she's not 4 yet. She doesn't need to know that yet.
We are so fortunate that Jana was able to attend a conference put on by CARD that opened the door for Skills, and that there's no looking back for us.
We started using the program in November, and it seemed like by January something just clicked, and she has completely kind of came out of her fog that she was in for quite a while.
I have never read a documented case on any child that has not benefited anything from applied behavior analysis. And now with this new skills and being, like the E version of ABA, I can't imagine it doing anything harmful to their child. It's nothing but exponential growth for us.
To see her now, it just blows us away. I mean, we call her our little miracle child because in 7 months' time, she's just blossomed into this normal, functioning child. And suddenly, we joke about it all the time, like suddenly we have twins.
If you're even thinking about doing it, do it. Because the absolute worst thing you can do is do nothing at all. And even if you use this program and it's just a single mom or a single dad working in the evenings with their child, this program is going to benefit them. It's going to show you where they are, it's going to show you where they need to go, and it's going to show you what skills and how to get there. It is an online book on how to help recover your child.
Welcome back. We're here, Autism Live, and I'm left in the studio with two fabulous people. We have Alex Plank from wrongplanet.net, and we have Nancy Alspaugh-Jackson.
With what was your hair?
That's a frightening little lump, isn't it? And of course, then there are little shavings everywhere. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's where all the curls are.
Look at all that.
And then the rest of it is inside my shirt.
That's right.
And I'm a little itchy.
Can't wait to take a shower when you get home.
Yes, I'm thinking that will be a fun thing to do today. But it's a little surreal, and I can't quite feel it. Like, my head is a little numb, but it's very exciting that we had the opportunity to do this. But I'm so thrilled that we've got a little bit of time left over, because there was some big news that came out this last week. Certainly it's being talked about a lot on Facebook, and it was on the Huffington Post. It came out from Autism Speaks.
Right. Geraldine Dawson, the Chief Science Officer at Autism Speaks, came out with 10 things we know about autism that we didn't know a year ago.
And I think the controversy in this has been over that statement, because if you read through the whole thing, there's some pretty fascinating things that are in there, and they're all related to and tied to individual research things that happened.
Right.
But I think a lot of people said, really, we didn't know this before this
We didn't know that high-quality early intervention for autism can do more than improvement behaviors. It can improve brain function.
Yeah. Well,
I think maybe we did know that, or I knew that.
I think a lot of people felt very strongly, but the point of this article was that there was incontrovertible, that's the word that I'm looking for, evidence that came out in research to prove that statement. That not only are we changing behaviors, but we change the way the brain works.
Right. And I don't think we need to split hairs here. There's a lot in these 10 things. Most of them are developments or studies that are just very positive.
Yeah.
And it's things that most of us that are really immersed in the community do know.
Right.
But we have to remember, a lot of people know nothing about autism. And every day I tell people, I'll mention something like, Laura Marquin, who works with me as our Director of Programs and Development, has a recovered son. And people will go, what do you mean recovered? And I'm like, he no longer has autism. Well, that can't happen. There's a cure, and I'm like, we call it recovered, and I explain it. And if you get a child early enough, intensively enough, yes, that they can no longer test autism under the standard testing. People have a hard time understanding that. So there are things that the average community doesn't know. A lot of people don't know what autism is, and I explain that it manifests itself in 3 areas: lack of social skills, lack of communication, and repetitive behaviors, and limited areas of interest. Because a lot of people are like, what is autism? So I do think it's important that those of us that are in the community know some basic answers when people ask us that can educate and really can help people understand.
I mean, one thing, though, is, I still test for autism. So, so even if your child's, doing really well and they could still test for autism.
Of course.
And
absolutely, and that's a really good point.
That's the most important thing
Alex,
parents want, I think.
If my son can grow up to be as sensitive, compassionate, and productive as you, I will be a very happy mother.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I second that. But I think that's a really good point, Alex, that, you know, when we talk about what goals are in terms of treating autism, I think we get into a dicey area for a lot of people, and people bring up the word recovery and cure. And people talk about things like that. And I always love it when we have an opportunity to showcase somebody like yourself, and you very proudly say, you know, I still qualify, and look at my life, all the things I'm doing, because it's remarkable.
And I think sometimes in that quest for recovery, we overlook a lot of the great things that happen with our kids. Yeah. And when I give my talk on 10 steps to empowerment for parents, one of my steps is run your own race. There will always be a child that is doing better than your child, and there will always be a child that is worse off in terms of the severity.
And that's true for people without autism.
Absolutely. Everybody is an individual, and just remember, you've met one person with autism. You've met one person with autism.
Isn't that the truth?
But with these statistics, if you've met one person with autism, you've only met 50 people.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Exactly. Isn't that the truth?
And we do know we have an epidemic, and we do know that clearly with 1 in 50 in the latest studies from the CDC that is reported by parents.
They did a study. It's 1 in 38.
1 in 38. So something is going on here. We cannot have a genetic epidemic. That's virtually impossible because it takes generations for genetic. There is no such thing as a genetic epidemic. So obviously, environment has a lot more to do with this than we previously thought. And we need to get at the cause, we need to get at treatment, and we also need to get where all of our individuals with autism currently are getting the help, care, and treatment they need today, which is where I will toot Act Today's horn and say, if you want to do an act of compassion, go to act-today.org. Host a little fundraiser, do a little community fundraising effort, and make a donation. No matter how small, it all adds up.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a small donation.
No.
And we had one more thing on our list of 10 things before we take another break. There was a number 10. Did I not bring it to you?
Let's see. No, there was a number 10. Let's find it. Number 10 was, I
don't think we got to
ask someone what they need.
Yes, I think this is one of the most important things that we can do, is when you want to show compassion for somebody, asking them, what do you need? If you meet somebody who's got an issue, because I think a lot of times, and Alex, I'd love your input on this, I think people assume sometimes, and especially with autism, people assume. I remember a really good friend who, when she found out that my child was diagnosed with autism, she decided, because she had met another child with autism who didn't like to be touched, she assumed that how she could help me was stop hugging my child. So we were at an event, and my child is a very huggy child, right? We were at an event, and she was hugging all the other children, and my son didn't yet have the language to ask, and so he kept pushing people and trying to get at her, and you know, she kept pushing him away, not understanding
that he wanted to hug. She just didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
She
and you probably
he was exactly
right.
And you probably viewed it as a slight, that maybe she was treating him differently.
Sorry, I have hair on my tongue.
Yeah.
There's hair on the back.
There's hair everywhere.
There's hair everywhere. But in any case, you know, I had to take her aside and say, hey, what's going on? Could you please hug my child? Do you have some sort of, like, do you not understand what's going on? He's acting out now.
Yeah.
He needs a hug. And she said, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I assumed because you told me that he has autism and the other child I know with autism can't stand to be touched. And I said, no.
Right.
And it reminded me that when we're asking somebody, what can I do for you? Well, when we want to do something for somebody, ask them, what can I do for you? What would be helpful to you? If you've got a friend who's going through something difficult, if they've just had a child diagnosed on the autism spectrum, how great would it be, Nancy, for somebody to say, what do you need? Because maybe they need a gas card, or maybe they need a chicken brought to their house, a roasted chicken.
For me, somebody bringing me a roasted somebody bringing me a roasted chicken is about the nicest thing somebody can do for me.
Well, because I remember there was a moment in which you said, "Here's what I need. I need a roasted I need a roasted chicken."
Brought me a roasted
and you know what? That would not have occurred to me.
Right.
That's what you needed was a roasted chicken.
You brought me roast chicken and green beans, and that my son can eat that, my husband can eat that, I can eat that. You know, it was gluten-free, dairy-free.
And an easy enough thing to do.
And it saved me cooking for 2 nights.
There you go. Yeah. And I imagine, you know, you went through some struggles, especially when you were younger. What how helpful would it have been to you if would you have known what to tell them to do if somebody had said, what do you need, Alex?
Yeah, a lot of times when people ask you what you need, and you can tell them what will help you. And I think what people don't realize is that sometimes you won't say what you want unless you're asked.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people are not as outspoken as they could be.
Yeah. So when in doubt, ask somebody. If you know somebody who, even if it's just that they look like they might have difficulty, you say to them, what can I do for you? And it's amazing.
I think sometimes, I know for me, I'm very guilty of assuming, and this is something you've mentioned about when you first met me, you thought that I had it all together and that I was this autism mom that had gone past my own son's situation and was just doing all this stuff.
She had her hair done, she had makeup on, and she was wearing heels. So I looked at her,
she figured, hey, she's got it all together.
Yeah.
Sometimes I assume that people that look like they have it all together don't need any help. Well, that's not often true.
Right.
Because sometimes that's just the facade they wear to the public.
Yeah.
And then underneath, they
That's
may
a defense
need...
mechanism.
It's a defense mechanism, right?
Absolutely.
I know for me, to look good is to, feel good. So, that can help pull me out. But that doesn't mean I'm not hurting. That doesn't mean that my child didn't have a tantrum last night that left me with scratches and bruises, which happened to me last night. And when I came in this morning, I said to Shannon, I had a really rough night. Wyatt had the first kind of violent tantrum that he's had in 2 years. So we talked a little bit about that, and talking it out gave me a sense of hope and a sense of, you know what? It was just an incident, and it doesn't mean it's going to become a pattern.
Right.
Right?
Well, and I told you, and it wasn't something that I came up with on my own, but somebody in a moment like that for me, when my son had a huge event that I went, where did this come from?
Right.
I don't understand what happened. And somebody very nicely said to me, remember that when these things happen, whenever there's something big that happens, it's usually accompanied by a huge period of growth.
That's true.
And I took a breath.
Yeah.
And whether it was true in that moment or not, it gave me relief in that moment.
Right.
Sometimes it doesn't matter whether it's true or not. I'm like, George, tell me about the bunnies. Mice and Men. When Lenny says, just tell me about the bunnies. I'm having a bad day. Tell me about the bunnies.
Yeah.
It's all about how we feel.
Right.
So we should take a quick break. But when we come back, the title of this article was 10 Things We Know About Autism That We Didn't Know a Year Ago. And I'm going to ask you guys, is there anything that you learned about autism in this year that you didn't know before?
Okay.
Can't wait to hear your answers to that.
There are a couple of things on the list.
All right, so stick with us. We're doing compassion in action, and we'll come back with that great question for these two fabulous guests. Stick with us.
Every child with autism deserves a bright future.
Without further clarification, the Affordable Care Act could actually result in less benefits for individuals with autism spectrum disorders.
We urge Catherine Sebelius to clarify the Affordable Health Care Act.
She can make one change, one little minor change, to make applied behavioral analysis be part of the health care plan.
By signing this petition, you are protecting the health care benefits of individuals with autism spectrum disorders.
We need to make sure
that we are heard
and seen.
Sign the petition at autism-live.com.
Here's how you can show your infinite support. Create your own infinity ribbon. What you're going to do is take a ribbon that's been cut about 8 inches long, and you're going to grab one end and then twist it, and then take the two ends and join them together, and then tape it together. And then I'm going to flip it around and take another piece of tape, and what I have is double-sided sticky tape. Squeeze down. You have your very own infinity ribbon.
With ABA,
the possibilities are infinite.
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 With ABA,
the possibilities are infinite. With ABA,
the possibilities are infinite. Welcome back to Autism Live. If you're just joining us and thinking that this looks a little bit weird, I want to tell you that we've done away. We usually work on a green screen, and we've done away. So we're showing you. We've gotten rid of all the magic and my hair. We're doing compassion in action this entire month for Autism Awareness Month, asking all of you at home to participate in whatever way you feel comfortable showing compassion to another human being on the planet by taking some sort of action. So I took my action today to kick us off, I shaved my head this morning to show support for a young dad with cancer. We're supporting Ryan Eoff. And you can find out more about him at Fighting for Ryan on Facebook. You can go there and check him out. A fabulous young man. Never met him, but supporting him and his journey and his family as well. And I am here with Nancy Alspaugh-Jackson from Autism Care and Treatment Today, a wonderful organization that gives grants to families for services that they request. It's that thing of, we just went over something that you can do, ask somebody what they need, and that's exactly what ACT Today does.
That's right. We answer the specific request of what the families know has been effective and works with their children.
Which is awesome. And then we also have with us the wonderful Alex Plank from wrongplanet.net. And you constantly are doing things on your site where you do videos because you're a filmmaker, but you provide a forum for individuals to talk about what they need to talk about. I will say that your most recent video about bullying, very helpful to me with my son. I sat down and watched it with him and put a whole new light on bullying with him.
Oh, yeah.
It was really amazing.
I'm going to watch that with Wyatt because Wyatt keeps asking me about bullying and what exactly it is because he knows it in stories. Like he knows Sid in Toy Story is a bully.
Right.
He knows who was the one in the movie Cars that always bumped Lightning McQueen was a bully. He knows Draco Malfoy was a bully in Harry Potter. Yeah. But he can't quite relate. Like the other day he kind of pushed me and said, "Get out of my way." And I said, "That wasn't nice." He goes, "Was I a bully?"
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so he's trying
to get a sense of it.
That. That's a great one.
Really, and can I also tell you that, I don't know if I've already had a chance to tell you this, but we watched the video, and in the video you talk extensively about what are real actions that you can take that are really helpful.
Yeah, basically most kids who are told how to deal with bullies are told to walk away, and that doesn't work.
Right.
Because that makes the bully realize that they're giving a reaction and makes them want to bully them even more. It's like, oh, I got him to leave.
Yeah.
So
they got what they wanted.
The way to do it, and this is Liz Laugesen from the UCLA's Peers, the help group, and the Peers Center. She told me that the way to get a bully off your case is to sort of acknowledge that they said something stupid, like whatever, or like, yeah, like it matters, or something like that. Actually can diffuse it and show that you don't really care at all.
Right.
And so something came up at school the other day, but it wasn't with my son, it was with somebody else, and they were feeling all low about it, and they said, that somebody had said something to them, and while I was there, my son said, "You just need to say to them, whatever." And they rehearsed it together, and I was like, look at that. Look at that. And so I wanted to make sure, I didn't know if I'd already told you that.
You take the power away that way, which is great.
So somebody wanted to know how much hair was in my coffee cup, and there's quite a bit of hair in my coffee cup. So there is that. And we've got people literally all over the world. Somebody said that I can definitely rock a pixie type do.
I think you can.
Well, maybe the pixie.
I think when your pixie comes in, it's going to be great.
Well, we'll see.
You might want to keep a pixie.
Well, I love to have short hair.
Okay.
I'm very much a short hair person. So before the break, because we're getting out of time here, I mentioned this article in the Huffington Post that Jerry Dawson from Autism Speaks, Chief Science Director, wrote 10 things we know about autism that we didn't know a year ago. And we'll encourage everybody to check out what those 10 things are. But I want to know from the two of you, what do you know about autism today that you didn't know about a year ago? Doesn't have to be on this list.
Okay.
But what do you know now that you didn't know before?
That's a hard question.
It is.
It is a hard question. I've learned so much, Shannon, on Let's Talk Autism. Every Wednesday we do the show and we look at the research. I find that most of what the research and shows is things that I kind of knew, but it confirms it. For example, if a child is not verbal by the age of 4, it does not mean they will not be verbal.
Absolutely.
Wyatt has a very close friend who did not speak until he was just under 4. Now we see this child most likely has Asperger's. He's extremely chatty. He has some issues with relationships. So, but his mother was told again and again, he cannot have Asperger's because he would be speaking early.
Right.
Well, he also had apraxia. So there was another condition that kept him from speaking. So he does, in fact, probably have Asperger's.
Interesting.
And because a lot of these things are as you know, are diagnosed by symptoms, there's no test.
Right.
So that was one I learned. The other that was a surprise to me was the folic acid.
Yeah.
That it reduces your chances of having a child with ASD pregnancy by significantly. I can't
if you take it while you're pregnant.
In the weeks before and after you become pregnant.
Yes.
May reduce the risk.
So starting as soon as possible. And they encourage most women who are trying to get pregnant to do folic acid anyway for spina bifida. So here's another reason why we should be taking folic acid. So
yeah, I did not know that. So
that I was told to take folic acid when I was trying to get pregnant. So Alex, what have you learned, do you think? I know. It's overwhelming.
As I said, what have I learned? Well, the bullying stuff, like the social skills.
Yeah.
That stuff's interesting to me.
Me too.
All the studies that have been done to show that some of these things that you're teaching kids what to do in social situations are not always the best thing, and that you really need to go by what the professionals have found to be true.
Absolutely.
Like with the bullying, for instance.
So you were saying with bullying rather than just...
Well, for bullying, joining a group, because you study people and you can see, if their bodies are turned towards you. You can see when it's time to enter the group. But that's not really taught.
Right.
Except in places
and
like
social skills.
Peers.
Yeah. Peer groups. Absolutely. Pretty amazing. We want to encourage everybody here as we're getting down to the last couple of minutes that you get to choose how you want to show compassion.
Yeah.
And we've given you a bunch of different suggestions, and of course the list is endless, but I want to remind everybody that you can donate to Autism Care and Treatment today by going to www.act-today.org.
And you can throw any kind of fundraiser for us you wish, lemonade,
it makes
sales, car washes, bake sales, even just spreading the word.
Absolutely.
We'd love to have you talk about our organization, and if you would like to have me come and speak to your school or to your civic group, I generally try to accommodate that within my schedule.
There you go.
And the other thing is that I believe next week Dr. Grandpichet and I are going to be heading to Sacramento for some very important bills that are up before our California state legislature.
Yes.
So I think too I've learned just how much one person can make a difference. We often feel like as an individual we can't, but I always like to remember that Margaret Mead said, never doubt that a small group of committed individuals can help change the world. It is the only thing that ever has.
Absolutely.
So when one or more of us comes together, we have great power to change the world.
And we have to say, as we're down here to the last minute, that you can check out wrongplanet.net, a wonderful, wonderful resource.
Great resource.
And see some of the different things that Alex is doing, that bullying video. Okay, I have to end by saying tomorrow on the show, we're going to have Yolanda Baker, author of Biting Your Bills, Cutting Medical Costs for the Disabled, How I Got $28,000 Back in Medical Expenses. She's going to be with us tomorrow in the first hour of the show. I hope you'll join us, because this is going to be important information for all of us who want to save money, because we have other things to spend it on. So we're going to be talking about what you can do last minute for taxes and how you can include medical expenses on your taxes.
So
I want to remind everybody,
my friend.
Thank you all.
Bravo.
And we'll be talking more about this and more about how you can show compassion throughout this week.
Compassion in action all month.
It's really, really cool.
Okay.
So I believe we're out of time.
We're out of town.
So until tomorrow when we're back, please give your kiddos a hug from me.
Make it a blessed day. Bye.